All right, good evening, everybody. It's 6 p.m. on Tuesday, June the 2nd. I call to order this meeting of the Bibb County Board of Education. Appreciate everybody who's here this evening. Board members, should I get a motion to approve the agenda, please? So moved. Motion by Mr. Green, second by Dr. Floyd. Any questions? There being none, all in favor of the motion, let it be known by the word aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. There is none. The agenda is approved. Next on the agenda is the Fiscal Support Services Committee, so I'm going to turn it over to Ms. Campbell.
Good afternoon. We have a presentation to begin with. Mr. Eric Bush, Senate number FSS1, tentative budget adoption.
Thank you and welcome, President Morton, board members, Superintendent Upsells. Today we're going to review the FY27 Superintendent's tentative adoption, the 2027 Superintendent's budget for tentative adoption.
I'll take it from here.
Okay.
I'll be taking the first slides. And once again, good evening to everyone. We have two phases to this presentation. One being our introductory slides that I'll cover. The second part being coverage of the numbers and related data from our Chief Financial Officer, Eric Bush, and then coverage of our mid-year, mid-range to long-range strategies as it relates to all things budget that will be covered by Deputy Superintendent Dr. Love. So we look forward to presenting you information for this tentative budget adoption that aligns with fulfilling our mission and vision for all our students. We recognize the importance and the intentionality of this mission and vision that drives our entire strategic plan and hope to align with your values as we prepare for the upcoming year. Next slide. Our proposed budget will help us continue to move in accordance with our guiding principles and ultimately position us to ensure every student is able to fulfill one or more of these formally learned outcomes upon graduation. We continue confidence that our decisions will aid us in making our theory of action a reality with strong engagement and strong staff resulting in strong students. This presentation will repeat some of the information already provided. Go to the next slide, to the board, with feedback applied, leading to a recommendation we would like to bring to the board for discussion and consideration. We believe we have fully and carefully identified additional cost-saving measures and clearly defined our cost needs, and the scenarios we have prepared will provide for adequate consideration as we think about FY27 and beyond. Our priorities continue to focus on maintaining a strong employee pool, accounting for staffing efficiency opportunities, positioning us for the future enrollment of students for the next level of learning, and advancing the capacity of our staff on several levels. As we've outlined before, here are a few and more specific ways we look to this proposed budget, as you move to the next slide, to make these priorities a realized portion of our work for this upcoming year. And we've covered this information a few times, and we want to continue to bring this to the forefront as we prepare ourselves to go through the data and move towards recommendations and options that we'll bring to the board. With that said, I'll turn the rest of it over to our Chief Financial Officer, Eric Bush.
Thank you, Dr. Sims. We want to start the meeting by reviewing some of the data and options that we brought to you on May 21st. We presented several options for further budget reductions. Chart above shows original amounts presented with revisions and options for consideration as we work through the final material. As you'll see in the left column, original is where we brought the information to the board, suggesting preliminary cuts that we can make. We've refined that into three other options, option 1, 2, and 3. Each of these options includes, so we'll start from the top. The classroom waiver option, we originally started at 3.8. Once we identified actual positions, that came down to $3.6 million. The central office vacancies includes 12 positions at an amount of $1,256,000. The rest of option 1, 2, and 3 are the same. The only changes are in that top section. We did identify further operation reductions of $578,500. The largest change was the outsourcing of paraprofessionals, which we originally estimated at $2.3 million. But as we know and talked about, that $2.3 million is based on a full implementation of outsourcing 80 paras, which is being targeted at one time. So we scaled that back to start with a 20 paraprofessional phase-in, and we felt like we could accomplish quickly, and then phase that in to accomplish a larger goal at the time we felt comfortable with that decision. We also had revenue changes at the bottom of additional transportation revenue of $1,241,000, and the transfer reduction is a reduction in the need to fund our GNEPS program of $500,000 due to an updated income amount we received from the state. Option 2 is the same as option 1. The biggest difference in this option is that step increase would be foregoing step increases for the district. Option 3 is an option with all vacancy, step increase, and furlough considerations. So it would include foregoing the step increases and implement a 5-day furlough for 200-day to 239-day staff for a savings of $1.4 million. Moving to the next slide, we're outlining overall changes between the FY26 and FY27 budget. The idea here is to bring all information from the beginning of our February work sessions to today and show exactly what's happening. We had an increase in equalization grants of $10,121,000. FTE funding was increased by $2.2 million. The state gave us $1.1 million for the literacy coaches that is mandating that 21 of those for our elementary schools, kindergarten through 3rd grade. We had other increases in federal and state grants of $938,000. We also had some decreases where the state had given us $1.8 million for a one-time poverty grant and a mental health grant that is no longer carried over to 27. Make a Bibb speed camera allowance that they provided last year. We did not have in this budget, and there's a decrease in other local funding that encompasses many categories of $300,000. As you'll see, the revenue options in each one of our 3 options did not change. The next slide represents major expense changes that we're experiencing this year. Option 1, 2, and 3 in the unfunded mandate section at the top remain the same across the board, where the state is requiring us to put 21 literacy coaches into our schools. That's going to be an expense of $2.3 million. An increase in state health insurance of $600 per member, which we've calculated to be an additional $2.7 million for this year. And the increase in teacher retirement, which is close to a $3 million change this year. Other things that we are doing in the district to reduce this budget include staffing measures. Previously in the year, we did a budget amendment to account for the paraprofessionals from the IDEA grant, and those paraprofessional expenses are coming over to the general fund this year. That's 81 staff members at a cost of $4.8 million. We've also revised school staffing allocations, where we've identified 74 member reduction in staff in our instructional side, for a savings of $6.4 million. Reducing vacancies at our central office, which is 12 staff members we mentioned on a couple slides ago, savings of $1.25 million. And then in the bottom section, so in that salary benefit section, you'll see option 1, 2, and 3. The changes from option 1 are still the step 4 the step increases and reducing the furlough. Option 3 has the furlough amount to $1.4 million. Looking down at the bottom, the district operation changes for option 1, 2, and 3 are the same, but this is highlighting major things that the district is experiencing this year, where we've had an increase in utility budget of $1.1 million. Our insurance, and risk management increases going up $1 million. General and administration costs, increase of $755,000. Amounts for our already contracted substitutes is $500,000. Building maintenance and operation cost $492,000. Where we have identified savings in the other areas at the bottom, where we're showing expendable equipment reductions of $250,000, supplies of $265,000 reduction, communication devices of almost $1 million. And the technology outlay, that funding of $2.9 million is being transferred to the SPLOST account. Now that we have 2026 in SPLOST. The next slides, 3 slides show revenue, final revenue projections. It also gives you an idea of what the 24, 25, and 26 revenues were. Our first page of the 3 pages show our state funding, where we are estimating $178.4 million of state funding. Slide number, part 2 of this section is showing our local tax revenue and our other local revenues, such as investment income, tuition from other counties, transportation revenues from outside sources, and sale of fixed assets, where we're estimating revenues to be $287,390,000. I'm sorry, I misspoke there. $108,964,000, giving us a total revenue for the district of $287.4 million. Our next couple slides are a high-level overview that we'd like to show, salary, benefit, operational costs, and we'll end on the third part of this slide with our with everything combined. For salary and benefits, as you can see in option 1, 2, and 3, show the changes that we showed in the previous slide. So it's a high-level overview of those changes, where in option 1 we have $165.7 million of estimated salaries, benefits of 93.7, with a total expense of $259.5 million. Option 2 is a reduction of that $1.7 million of foregoing the step increases, and that brings that total salary benefit to $257.8 million. And the final option 3 is implementing not only foregoing the step increases, but foregoing the 200-day to 239-day staff, bringing that total salary to $256.4 million. Our operational expenses are shown on the next slide with the same options. These numbers do not change. There's no change in operational expenses in any option. And we are proposing and recommending that operational expenses come in at $42,655,000. It transfers to other funds of $1.9 million. It was total expenses of $44.6 million. Tying this all together, we're going to look at the whole preliminary budget, where you start at the top with our projected ending fund balance for this year, $48,113,000. Add in revenues and transfer them, $287,390,000. And under each options, the expenses do change as detailed before. Where in option 1, we would end up with a net deficit of $16.6 million. Option 2, a net deficit of $14.9 million. And option 3, a net deficit of $13.3 million. At the end of each of these, the projected ending fund balance for option 1 is $31.5 million, giving us with a 10.36% fund balance ratio. Option 2, an ending fund balance of $33.2 million. And option 3, an ending fund balance of $34.6 million. The next couple slides have a lot of information on it, but it has a lot of important information on it. So I'm going to take a second to go through this. As we look at adopting a budget tonight, it's important to look at our revenue sources in the future. Even though our tax revenue has not come in yet, our tax digest has not been published yet. And those decisions will be made in August most likely. We want to go ahead and tell you what it looks like and show you what it looks like if we were to apply a 1 mil increase, 2 mil increase, 3 mil. These are by options that are shown. You'll see the option in the top left corner. The first one we're looking at is how option 1's expenses would affect our fund balance, ending fund balance, and how that projection over the next 4 years would look to our fund balance to expense ratio. As you can see in this example, it's focusing on the bottom, that if we were to do a 1 mil increase, a no mil increase, we would be in the negative territory within 2 years, and that means that we would have no cash left. If we go out to a 2 mil increase where it looks a little healthier, you're getting a 27 projected into fund balance of 13.7%, 28, 10%, but then it drops below that 8% state minimum to 6.53 in 2029. The 3 to 4 mil increase provides healthier numbers for the district throughout those remaining 4 years through that trend. Going to option 2. We're looking at the same data except for this. Less expenses are applied, and we see that a 2 mil increase keeps us above that 8% mark through 2029. And then the 2027 and 2028 projections look much more healthier within the black and above our minimums for the foreseeable future. Option 3 shows similar information to option 2. Since there is only a $1.4 million increase in expenses, it's not going to change. While we're talking about the millage rate, we just want to bring this slide up for reviewing one more time. Our 2025 millage rate right now is 14.674. The value of the mill is $6.2 million roughly. This provides the district approximately $91,000 of levy tax income. That is not actual tax income because the tax commissioner's office does cost 2.5% in for collection, so we don't get the whole money. If you look at back to 13 all the way to 25, that's an increase of $16.3 million in gross revenue over those in the last decade. And moving toward the end of the presentation, for considerations, the district has historically rolled out the millage rate, and then we discussed it before, with one ability of growth, and what the tax revenue is sustained and expanded fiscal operations. We work to align resources with our strategic priorities to ensure long-term stability. We continue to explore a range of options, optimizing efficiency and maximizing our impact on our students. And at this time, I'm going to bring up, as part of what I share some comments.
Good evening, President Morton and members of the Board of Education. Good evening, Dr. Sims. Over the next 3 slides, I'm going to walk you through our response to the challenges that we have presented today in terms of the millage rate in particular. And I'm going to frame this in 3 parts. First, the medium-term actions that we can take right now, FY27. And these are going to be those tactical things we've been working on, such as the efficiency studies. I'm also going to share some more about pay restructuring and rezoning analysis that deliver near-term results. Then I'll show you structured planning framework that we are building in FY27 across operational efficiency, financial sustainability,